Hey, George here with an update on my ongoing project, Project Silent. In this video I'm going to showcase some new features in the core framework as well as some nice quality of life improvements here and there. First up is the combat. I have improved the gun handling with better, more visually satisfying weapon sway. As you can see, there's slight hand rotation done using IK or inverse kinematics, and some movement on the arms. It's also more positionally accurate than the previous video as well. I've also added gun decals and hit effects. This is a pretty simple system at the moment, but it's expandable. Each collider has a script containing a material scriptable object, which details its various properties. Later down the line, this will also be used to dictate collision sounds and stuff like that. Lastly, for combat, I've added my first melee weapon, a knife, made by my good friend Chris, which you can check out in the description below. I'll put a link. Logic-wise, this works about the same as the gun. In essence, it's using a raycast to find its target in front of the player. However, one key difference is that, as you'll notice, those bullet decals that you see with the guns won't appear with the knife, only the effect. Later down the line, I want to add a dedicated slice decal to make this more satisfying, but for now this works. Also, with the melee weapons, there is 3 moveset animations. What this means is, what you'll notice is you'll slice first, then there'll be like a different slice, and then there'll be like a stab animation after that. And these happen one after the other, and if you leave it too long, it will just reset back to the first animation of the knife. Moving on, I've made a few key improvements to the movement. Namely, I've actually removed the variable jump. I found that this was actually holding back the player and making it feel like a lot stiffer. So as you can see now, parkour is just generally a lot easier in my opinion. Additionally, I've tweaked acceleration and max speed for the ground and air, which I think has resulted in a lot more smooth player movement. Lastly, I've also improved the transitions in the camera animation, so it's just generally a lot less jolty, if you notice, compared to the last video. And it just creates overall a lot more stable image. These are relatively small improvements, but vital to the overall experience, especially for a rigid body player in this case. I've also added auto vaulting. This means for objects which are smaller than the height of 0.5 meters, the player will automatically ascend upwards over it, and this is still using forces, so it maintains the physics-based nature of the simulation. There's no trickery here, it simply applies an upwards force and it allows the player to just easily slip over them without having to manually jump. It just makes it a lot easier for the player. Last thing I wanted to mention is I added these nice interact indicators which appear when you face something you can interact with. As you can see, this also scales with distance from the player, so if you're far away it'll appear bigger without being too big when you're close to it. It also automatically rotates to face the player, so you can always see the indicator. It's a small thing, but it makes interacting with objects a lot more approachable for newer players. It's just a handy little feature. Last thing I wanted to talk about is the plans for the future for this project, and actually what this project is. So going forward, the next big system I want to work on is improving my inventory system visually. I want to make a dedicated video for that. I also want to start working on AI, making a good enemy system so there's actually something for us to fight in this game. And onto the point of this game, what this game is, it's a couple things. First thing is it's a technical challenge for me. It's practice in a way for me to learn the different stuff when it comes to making a production game, because my previous game was just on a different level of scale than this current project. I also want to make just a good horror game, you know, like a fun game that people enjoy. It's something that I've been working on for a while, so I'm hoping the result is good. So I'm going to carry on working on it. I'm also working on a demo for the game. I might publish this on itch. So yeah. Other than that, thank you for watching, and see you in the next development video. Goodbye.